Andersen.
You ever go on a mini road trip just to pick up some parts?
Me too.
Anyways, let's get into today's video. Welcome back to channel Andersen, guys. Let's go. Well, got up about 6 o'clock this morning, dropped my mother-in-law off at the airport, and after that went on an extra road trip to pick up a set of wheels. You're probably wondering by now, what wheels did we get? And in fact, these are R230 SL55 AMG wheels, 5-spoke design. They're 18 by 8.5 and an 18 by 9.5 for the rear. We're gonna be trying to throw these on the red CVT5. You guys saw me test fit the super wheels, and although they look good and probably could have fit okay, I don't really want to try to squeeze them on there. We might save those to try them out on the silver CVT5 eventually, but these are going to be a much better fit. They're basically a factory, kind of very close to flush fit on these cars with no spacers. I believe they might be R14 ball seat, but that's okay because we got the M12. That's okay because we got the M12 by 1.5 R14 ball seat lug nuts from Motorsport Hardware. So these things, I picked them up for 225 bucks. Shout out to David the seller. Met him over at Fort Lewis down south. And overall, I mean, they're in okay shape, but for the price, I felt like it was a pretty good deal. Tires are 8-year-old Michelins. They still actually look okay, which is kind of crazy being 8 years old, and they feel soft, which is also kind of crazy. But there's a few spots on them that are definitely not good. On one of the bigger ones, a 9.5. So I think there's a spot somewhere around here. Yeah, over here. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a patch or something, but anyways, I'm probably not going to be running these for long regardless. I'll throw on a set. I'll probably transfer over the 235s that I put on the back of this onto the 8.5s, and then I'll throw on probably like a 255 on the 9.5. So I think these are going to be a much cleaner factory look for the red car, because that's kind of what I'm going for on this build. I'm probably going to end up taking the tint off. I've been back and forth about it, but I'm just not a tint guy, and this has the factory blue windows and I'm a big fan of that. So I think blue windows with this car is going to look like a whole different thing and a lot more factory style once we get it all properly cleaned up, take care of all the little blemishes, you know, clear coat, tow hook cover, clean up the tips and all that stuff. So it's going to be a good fit. But let me give you guys a closer look so you can see exactly what we're working with. All of the faces are in really good shape. Actually, I think they'll clean up just fine. It's just the lips on basically this and that are not in the best shape, and I don't know what people usually will do to refinish the lips on these, to be honest. I'll have to look at them. I think they're I don't really know. I don't know what the treatment is for these to get that like polished look on the outside, or if it is just polished and then clear coated, or if it's actually painted or not. But I guess I'll have to do a little bit of research what will be good move to try to do. And then obviously missing the center caps as well. I think I have maybe one set of those over here. I got a couple. I don't know if I have more of these. I might, but I think I might have used them for the CLK, maybe. Oh no, actually I used them on these, I remember now. So I'll find another set of those. I might even be able to find some locally on Facebook Marketplace. I see them pop up every once in a while. So for those that have been following along with the saga of this car, I think, fingers crossed, I finally got the clutch properly bled. I used a little trick that I learned from an old man on YouTube that I'm very thankful for. So I'm probably going to make a little short showing that same exact method of bleeding, because I think it finally got us in a good place. Sorry, this thing's locked, otherwise I'd show you. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in a little while once I have a chance to throw these on, and we're actually getting started back again on Benzin on a budget. This thing is going to be in the garage today because might be pulling the motor and transmission out of it. So that's for another video. All right guys, upon closer inspection, I did find some, looks like, I don't know what this would be considered, delaminating or just. All right guys, checking back in. As you can see, red car is outside of the garage now. I'm going to show you guys the tires because I found a few more spots on them and I just don't feel like throwing them on. Plus, I'm going to refinish those wheels, and there's just no point in throwing them on right now. But I'm still debating. I don't know, the tint is nice. Like it's a very nicely done tint job, and it's not too dark. But the blue windows are just so nice. I really think the blue windows, the red and the silver is gonna go hard. So I got to make a decision on that. But first I'll get the wheels on before I take the tint off so I can see. And I don't know, the windshield does kind of look tinted. I don't know if this is this might be aftermarket glass. Yeah, this has already been replaced, so it's not the original windshield. I don't know if it's tinted or not. That I would probably leave alone, to be honest. But the sides would look good. Like comparison, there's the blue tint on the silver C55, and it's still like, it's not like a glass house look. It's still, I mean, got a little bit of privacy or whatever you want to call it, a little bit of like sleekness to it, but it just looks really good. I'm just a big fan of that compared to this. Something like the CLK looks good with it because it's all black, but even that I've thought about taking it off, but I don't know, later adventures. Anyways, let's go in the garage. I'll show you guys what I got going on. Hint hint. All right, absolutely nothing to see here, guys, but our wheels, here they are. So my plan, I think I talked about this earlier, but I'm gonna go over these, basically sand down these edges. I'll try to tape off the faces and just kind of sand them down and eventually get them to a polish. I'll see what it looks like, and if I need to, I can paint them. But the tire that's in question, this one is the one that was like, all right, I'm not gonna run these at all anymore because this is dried out, and I don't know if it's laminating or what it is, but the rest of them feel pretty soft. Some of them are 2017, 2016, but that's just too old. This is not worth it. So I'm gonna figure out a set of tires. I already got the 235s off of that I'll swap onto the 8.5s, and then I'll probably put 255s on the 9.5s. So I'll order up a set of 255s or keep my eye out on Facebook Marketplace, but this will happen. It's just not happening yet. So what else we got going on today? Oh, job I wanted to do real quick. I want to see if this is possible. See if this thing is still. Also, guys, I for sure had a alarm module that was draining on this thing, because before, god dang, I keep dropping my hair tie. Before, if I let this thing sit for even a few days, the battery would go absolutely flat on the Odyssey battery. And yes, the Odyssey battery that I had was kind of worn out, but it wasn't that worn out. And even if I charge it up to full capacity within a few days, it would be kind of weak. So now that we got the new one in here and I removed that alarm module, I've literally been able to start it after like a week of sitting in the cold weather. So definitely was pulling some juice from the battery, I think. But anyways, what I want to do right now, I did this a little while ago, our filter setup over here. And what I would like to try to do, so I didn't even think of trying this last time, is reversing this setup over here, because this line is kind of, it's not perfect for this, and I'm not in our groove anymore. So I'm gonna try to put this over here with the adapter, and then I think the line that I do have made will fit a little bit better starting over here. So I'll try that out and see if we can get it to work. And if not, then I just got to make a new AN line and shorten that up. Alright guys, decided to just shorten up the AN line, so shorten it by maybe 1.25 inches or so, and now looks like it'll be a good fit. So I'm gonna go ahead, situate this, and tighten these up. Alright guys, that is all situated now, much cleaner than it was before, and got the factory grommet for the hard line back in place, so that should be okay. Need to see if my breather will still fit right here. Yes, it does. Alright, well, this is temporary anyways, because I'm going to route that back to the inlet for the intake, but for now it'll work. So let me go fire this thing up. Well, not fire it up, but at least test if we got leaks once I put pressure to the rail. Pressure to the rail is here, and no leaks, thankfully. So I will keep an eye on these things after I go for a first test drive, but hey, at least we got one thing. Oh, actually, no, that's just leftover lubricant, I think, from me putting the fitting in. All right, yeah, we are good. Should we try to fire this thing up right now? Curious if it'll start. This really will prove if the battery's good, because it's been almost 2 weeks. Guys, pretty sure we got a tire that's going flat, by the way. This thing keeps losing air, so I don't know if it lost bead or what, but no Discount Tire installed these. I can always take it by to them, get them rotated, and see if that fixes it. But yeah, should be good. Which one you taking, by the way, guys? Mars Red stock version manual swap, silver car wildly modified version manual swap. Drop it in the comments, red or silver. All right, guys, well, I think close out the vlog here. Let's take this thing for a drive. I think I told you guys I've been battling the clutch issues with getting it bled, and I think I finally got it bled. So I'm gonna drive it right now. If it turns out that it's driving okay, then I'm gonna come back and upload the new tune on it. Oh man, we'll see. Top of the pedal still feels weird. Pops back, but I don't know. Gosh, man. Still the same thing. Gosh, man. What is up with this thing? You guys, I'm literally so frustrated right now, but this is my problem, which it's like not there. It's so weird. When I drive it, like I have plenty of, like the clutch can engage, no problem. You guys just saw me shifting, it shifts fine. But when I try to drive, this will all of a sudden do that. It'll just stay there and it won't come back up on its own like it's doing right now. And sometimes it'll do that, it'll pop back up, and sometimes it'll sit like literally all the way here. This is like, here, let me show you. Like we got plenty of pressure. Like it's hard for me to push on my hand, but it's just not the whole pedal. It's starting from basically there, which is just not what it's supposed to be doing. I don't know what the hell is going on. Like I bled this thing so crazy the other night, like making sure nothing, no bubbles were left in it. And it still is doing that. I don't know what the heck is going on, but the only thing I can really think of is if something's going on with the clutch master cylinder. So I feel like I need to rip the carpet out and just see if, I mean, I don't know. We're not losing fluid. That's the thing. It can't be leaking fluid. But if there was something that wasn't tight or a connection wasn't tight, like maybe the barb on the clutch master cylinder itself, maybe it isn't making a good seal and it's allowing air to get in over time. But I don't know, guys. This is so weird and hard to like diagnose or figure out, because this, like, it just goes back like super slow, and then like that it'll get stuck. Like, what is making it do that? Ah, man, it's so frustrating. All right, guys, well, the only thing I can think of, honestly, is the clutch master cylinder. The one that I use, the Beccanarli one, which is metal, is just not quite right, and it's off a little bit. I did do the modification on this one where I bored out the kind of fittings where they go, and I replaced them with bolts. So in theory, what could have happened is it got misaligned from where it normally is factory, and that's not allowing it to spring back to where it should be. Luckily I have the coupe as an example. I can kind of look at everything, but man, this is frustrating. I do not think this is a fluid issue at this point or a bleed issue at this point. It's something to do with the pedal assembly and clutch master cylinder. It's possible it could be the spring, but I really don't think so. So I'm gonna have to figure something out, but not driving this car right now. Okay, I have another theory. The little, what are they called? Pins or whatever, like pin bushings on the clutch master cylinder, they kind of have a little bit of movement. I'm wondering if maybe I tightened down those little dowel bolts and nylock nuts too much, and that's not allowing like any rotation on it, and that's what's keeping it from letting the spring pop it back out easily at the top of the pedal. Should probably try. It's worth a shot. But I'm supposed to be going to the store to get firewood and drinks for us, so let me go do that. When we get back, we'll try it out. All right, you guys, a little while later, I just ripped the pedals out of the coupe, mostly because I had to, and also because I need to use these as kind of my experimentation with what is going on with the clutch pedal on the red C55. The only thing I can think of right now, guys, is, like I said earlier, we either got a problem with the clutch master cylinder that I used, or we have a problem with the what's called over center spring. I can hold this real quick. So this, as soon as it gets past the center point, it starts pushing back up to respring itself to the top. If it goes to the center, it should be kind of like dead even, and then it gets past center and it will click down. So the spring is helping it push back up, laying off in the middle, and then helping it push all the way down. The spring is definitely different on the C55's pedal setup. You know, there's different ones for different 203 pedals. And I'm just kind of curious, like, how these work exactly, and if you can make adjustments to them at all. Like, does it change anything if I twist the spring around in a certain orientation? Does it make it tighter? One little trick that I want to try is just putting like a spacer or something in the spring that's on the red C55 and seeing if that changes what it feels like, or if it helps it spring back, because that will tell us right then and there it's an issue with this. The other thing I did notice is, if you can see, there is, let me spin this back to where it was. Kind of hard to actually, but it's kind of like a piston in there, and I noticed on the red C55 it's almost maxed out when it's at this resting position, deep, or I guess, what do we call it, undepressed, depressed. And it doesn't look like it has very much room to move. Now, it doesn't need a whole lot, but it's still just, I'm just noticing the differences between these, or noting the differences rather. There's a good almost half an inch of travel room right now when it's all the way out. When I press it in, it goes down just a few millimeters and then pushes back out even further, closer to like 3/4 of an inch. So I don't know how much this affects all of this, guys, to be honest. They're both 203 pedals. They should be the same, but they're obviously not exactly the same. They have different springs. I can tell that right off the bat. And I'm just curious if maybe that's what's going on with our pedal, because that would explain it. It's bled. It shifts fine. It goes into gear fine. It's not like it was before when it wasn't bled and it was having issues otherwise. So I don't know. It's got to be something to do with this operation, or possibly, like I said, how I mounted the master cylinder with the bolts that I use instead of having these pins. So I don't know. Something we're gonna have to check out later. I think that's gonna have to do it right there though, guys. It was definitely a busy weekend. There's a reason the coupe is in the garage right now. You guys will see that Wednesday on the return. I've been on a budget. It's been a long time, but finally we're back to it. And we made some great progress this weekend. So I'll keep you guys posted on this weird clutch pedal issue and with our new wheels that we picked up. Hope you guys enjoyed the mini adventures from this weekend, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you as always. Peace.